Hey guys, what's up? It's Kit. We are going to be talking about hooks today. And not just any type of hook, but the right hooks for you to buy for your first set of hooks. This is strictly for bait fishing, of course, although some of these hooks can be used to tie flies with, which I'll show later. And also some specialist lure fishing. But we'll go with the basics, and hopefully this will help you when you first go to a shop. It helps you get well, it helps if you walk into the shop and you already know a thing or two so that you don't get confused, because when you walk into a shop there's a lot of hooks and lots of varieties, and you don't want to be buying hooks that are for a different purpose other than what you want. So today we're going to be talking about bait fishing. Okay, and this is for both dead bait, okay, which is like dead prawns or shrimp, pieces of squid, strips of squid or whatnot, live bait, live fish, live squid, all that. All right, so let's get to it. Now, the very, very basic, okay, I'll tell you right now. These three right here, okay? These are probably the ones that you see a lot of. These are O'Shaughnessy pattern, and this is Aberdeen, okay? You use the O'Shaughnessy patterns as an all-around hook. They are tied in a medium wire hook, so they're quite strong for their size. And they're probably the all-around hooks, the best all-around hooks there is, okay? Here is an Aberdeen. Now, when you're fishing with, let's say, thin bait such as sandworms, earthworms, or something like that, long thin strips of squid even, okay, and you need a hook that wouldn't, if the strips are so thin and you don't want them to break easy, Aberdeen's your best bet because it has a thin wire. And the good thing about this hook is that when you're fishing snaggy bottoms, when it catches, you can put pressure on the line and pull, and because of the thin wire, the hook will bend open and you'd be able to get all of your rig back, okay? Now, the problem is if you hook something big, it might open as well, okay? So this is one of the reasons why I don't really use it. We want something big, and this is the hook that I use the most. There are better hooks out there, I have to say, kind of specialist patterns and everything, but they're also not that easy to find. Whereas these hooks are so common, these are probably the most stocked hooks anywhere on earth. Okay, so these are the O'Shaughnessy pattern, and different manufacturers call them different code. Mustad would call them something, VMC would call them something, and all the other hook manufacturers. But for VMC, the code for this is 8255, and because this is stainless, there's an S at the end, so 8255S. The hooks on this particular one are forged, which means that it's round here, but as soon as it reaches this part here, they hammer it, okay? And what that does is give it kind of like a squarish shape, and that helps it keep its shape in pressure, which means you tend to have this hook open less than, say, an Aberdeen, and an Aberdeen is purely round, okay, in cross section right there, whereas this is forged. So it's a quite for its size, it's actually quite strong. Now, major takeaway from this video is that you can spend the rest of your bait fishing life with this hook and you'll be happy, okay? I literally have thousands of these hooks. Look, because this is the hook pattern that I use the most. See, so I have thousands of them. I tie flies with them, bait fish with them. Whenever my daughter fishes with me and we're bait fishing, those are the types of hooks that I use. Or this is the one. This is the one. Okay, that's it right there. So for me, this is probably the best all-around hook in the planet. Try it out for yourself. You'll see what I mean. All right, now we have this. This is what's called a live bait hook, and as you can see, it has a very thick wire compared to the O'Shaughnessy. Again, it's a hook that I tie flies with. Okay, that's the same hook right there. And this is for a different purpose, really. I mean, although you could tie flies with it, and sometimes even put them on lures, this is what's called a live bait hook. Okay, and what it's used for, believe it or not, I mean, this small hook here, right here, can catch a tuna because the wire is so thick. And you can use really heavy rods and reels, and it won't bend. Okay, so it's such a strong hook for such a small size, and it's used for fish like sardines or live squid. You use one hook, drift it out in the current, and the fish bites. You know, it could be a small fish, a big fish, or whatnot, and this hook would be able to hold it. Okay, that's how strong this hook is. Mostly used for, or I mostly use it with live bait, drifting it out into the current for dorado or tuna, with just a straight monofilament or fluorocarbon straight to the rod. It's a process, or it's a technique we call fly lining. So a very useful hook, and sometimes when the hooks like the ones that we showed before, these hooks right here, if you're finding yourself that, you know, you're losing fish because of that, upgrade to this type of hook. It's always nice to have them around, especially when big fish are in. It gives you a bit of confidence that your hook won't bend. Okay, now here comes some. This is kind of odd, okay, because these are probably the first hooks that were ever invented. This shape right here, it's called a circle hook. As you can see, it kind of looks like a circle. Well, not really, but the first hooks of this type are actually cut from shells, and this is the reason why they called it circle hooks. But the biggest feature is you can see that the eyes are turned towards the shank. See? Now the difference, the main difference between the J hooks and the circle, okay, is that for the J hooks, you actually have to hold the rod, feel the nibble, and then strike back with your rod. I mean, you go like that, you know. So this is your rod right here. When you feel the nibble, you strike, okay, which is you're jerking your rod back fast to impale the fish with the point of the hook. Okay, whereas with the circle hook, what you want to do is leave it there so that the fish runs, and when the fish runs, the hook will turn and hook it at the corner of the mouth, and that's it. You don't have to do anything special. You just let the fish run and then reel in. Okay, if you set the hook, more than likely you will pull the hook out of its mouth, so you let them run. Whereas with the J hook, okay, when you feel the nibble, that's when you strike. Now, having said that, if you're fishing for fish that nibbles, these are the best ones. Okay, for bigger fish that swallow the bait and run with it, these are the types that you want, the circles. So, and I mean, circles also come in different sizes and all. So what I would recommend is actually buy a few of these J hooks and a few of the circles as well. So for your first tackle box, the best advice I could give you is to buy not big packs, but small packs, like a pack of 10 of different sized um, hooks in the O'Shaughnessy, Aberdeen, live bait, and circles, just so you would know exactly which ones you're comfortable with. Now remember that these are great for fish that peck on their bait, okay? Well, these are good for fish that swallow and run, okay? Typically when you're fishing as an area, you don't really know what type of fish is there. So you know, it helps if you're prepared with different types of hooks to adjust to the areas, because sometimes when you're fishing, and especially for the guys that are new, they leave their rods and kind of forget about it while they go about things. They don't really pay attention. So if you put a circle hook on there, when the fish bites and the fish runs, you actually, you know, don't lose the fish. Whereas the ones that hold the rod and they get excited, okay, it teaches them how to be patient, especially when, again, especially when you're in an area where there are some fish that actually swallow the bait and run with it. Now, very good examples would be grouper. Okay, grouper are the type of bait that fish that would just swallow and then run. So circle hooks are good for groupers, whereas for snappers, I would most likely be using these because they love pecking on the bait more than they swallow and run. Okay, it's always good to have a variety so that you kind of cover the area. We'll go through rigs in future videos and all that, but yeah, I hope this video helps, and hopefully with these tips you'd be able to start catching fish. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. If you want to, you can like and subscribe. I'll have a lot more videos like this down the line, and then we'll make some rigs, show you what rigs I use for bait fishing and some lure fishing as well. And we will have fishing videos, okay? We will have bait fishing videos, we will have lure fishing videos. It's just that I want to sit down and create some videos to start with that they're actually the basics, so that when we finally do the fishing videos, we can just go back to these videos right here, so that, you know, we don't have to go through them again. So I'm starting with the real basics, and then we'll go out there and we'll show you exactly what we're doing with them, and which types of, for this instance, which types of hooks we'll be using in a particular area to target different fish. All right, so that's it for me for now, and I'll see you in the next one.